Welcome to Convergence Healing with Peter Bedard, where we empower you to heal your pain on every level of your being, body, mind, spirit. Our show is about sharing solutions for creating the life you want. We invite you to stand up and choose a life of health, happiness, and joy. And we're here to show you how. This is Convergence Healing.
Awesome. Welcome. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Convergence Healing with Peter Bedard podcast. I'm Peter Bedard, and this is my lovely guest, Chella Diaz. We're going to be talking about money and prosperity and abundance and actually limitations. And we're going to talk about how the story you talk about to yourself affects your abundance, yes?
Yes.
All right. So in a moment, we're going to be having a conversation with Chella. I actually like to pick a quote, and I found a quote that I really enjoyed around the idea of what our topic is today. So I'm going to share that with people.
Awesome.
This is actually a quote from J.K. Rowling, and it actually comes from the Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone story. I like that.
I like it.
Right? Isn't that fun? So it's already magical, right? Okay. So J.K. Rowling says, as much money and life as you could want, the two things most human beings would choose above all. The trouble is, humans do have a knack of choosing precisely those things that are worst for them.
Ooh.
Isn't that interesting? So I'm going to read it one more time because
Yes.
it's in the context of a story in one of her books. So it says, as much money in life as you could want. The two things most human beings would choose above all. The trouble is, humans do have a knack of choosing precisely those things that are worst for them.
Ooh, good.
Right? In other words, we say we want something, right? But what are we actually getting? And what are we actually focusing on? So I'm going to be here so I can focus on you guys a little bit. I think that's so important because, we have, the show, and the focus of this show is about pain and about healing pain, whether it's physical pain, emotional pain, or spiritual pain. It's about giving you solutions for creating a better, more abundant life for yourself on all those levels. And I wanted to bring Chella in. She was recommended to me by a friend who I don't even know. Has he worked with you before? You've worked together before, right?
We have.
All right. So that's a very high recommendation right there. And I really like the guy that recommended her, Donnie. So shout out to Donnie. Thank you so much. And I see and hear so much pain in the world around money and this idea of scarcity and so many people in my life for years now have played out those stories. And I notice that when I stop my stories of scarcity, I have plenty. And I may not be a millionaire and I may not be super rich, but that's not actually what my focus is on. My focus is on doing the things that I want to do. And when I actually get out of my money story, that negative money story, I start telling myself a different story, and I always have the ability to do what I really want. And I think that's fascinating. And as a therapist, I think that's really fascinating because it tells you how important the subconscious is and how our belief patterns and these stories that we tell ourselves influence our lives on an everyday basis. So when Chella came into my awareness and I was introduced to her, I thought, wow, okay, this is great. For a very selfish reason, I wanted to get more prosperous in my own personal life, but I also want my friends and those of you who are listening to have a more abundant, joyful life. And that doesn't necessarily mean to me being rich. There's a difference, isn't there, between abundance and rich. And so let's talk about that.
Ooh. Perfect setup, folks. Perfect.
Chella, thank you so much for being on the show.
It is my pleasure. I've been looking forward to this. I was like a little girl, my first day of school. But that is a great way to look at it, right? Because rich doesn't really bring you the happiness that you think is going to bring you.
Well, I mean, rich people are always complaining that they don't have enough or they're not happy.
Or they don't have enough time.
Or they don't have enough time, or they don't have enough love, or they don't have enough friends, or they don't have enough whatever.
So there's also that missing piece.
Yeah, well,
right?
And there's always that scarcity, which is so interesting, because they may be rich, but they're missing something.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's where that comes in. So it's about having a full life, whatever that may be for that person.
Right.
So for you, it's having a balanced life. So for some people, it could be traveling, having the resources and the time to travel.
Right.
So I think that we need to go back to really, really, what is it that you really want? Not keeping up with the neighbor or your keeping up with the Joneses or whatever your friends may be doing, is really, really finding out what do you really, truly want. So that will be number one, and everybody's going to be different. But also, what money story are you telling yourself?
That's a powerful one.
And for the listeners and audience out there, think about, and the best way to discover that story, because you may not know what that is think back when you were 5 years old, 6 years old. What was the money story? What was the money conversation that adults were having that you overheard?
Right.
Right? So let's go back to that, because you may be carrying that and not really know that you're carrying that.
Right, and that's a subconscious message.
Right.
That I know mine. The moment you brought that up, what was the story? Well, with my family was a very blue collar family. My generation was the first generation to actually go to college in my family, and we were an immigrant family, right? So money was something that was always scarce.
Okay.
And as a child, I learned just not to ask for anything. I was the youngest. And so by the time I came around, I saw the scarcity. I had grown up in the scarcity. I saw that with my brother and my sister. And I just learned not to ask for anything. It was very, very rare if I ever said, oh, I would like whatever it was. Right?
Pair of shoes?
I knew to only ask for shoes and clothes for my birthday, because then I could get people to buy me gifts that way. So everybody always wanted to buy me a birthday gift, so it would be like, well, buy me a new pair of pants, because that's how I knew how to get school clothes.
Okay.
And that type of stuff. And I also grew up with the idea that money doesn't grow on trees. Right? That saying was a constant. It was like a mantra and a chant in our household, this chant of scarcity. And my parents came out of that whole depression mentality. They were born right after the Depression and the war and all that type of stuff. And so there was not a lot of abundance in the world at that moment. I mean, there was plenty, but the scarcity that was created because of the war, because of just manipulating of manufacturing and prices and stuff like that. And so they passed that on to me. And I had to start saying, wait a minute, why am I perpetuating this? Because it's actually not true. Money does grow on trees. And you know that,
it's
right?
It's paper.
Well, not only trees themselves are paper, right? But money literally grows on trees. You have fruit, you have nuts, right? All of that stuff, you take that off the tree and you exchange it for money. That's the route, right? Money grows on grapevines.
I know, and that's a great way to look at it, because you have abundance everywhere you look. Mm-hmm. And this is what I do. I do workshops, and it's just about allowing folks to start thinking about money in a different way.
Right.
So let's say that the money is, money does not grow on tree. Well, Peter just told us it does.
It absolutely
because
does.
You have your apples, your fruits, whatever, and it literally does grow on trees. And then start changing it.
The tree itself is money.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Like you said with paper.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Money is made out of paper. Mm-hmm. So start thinking of it. Right. So what is your story? So I have similar to yours. Mm-hmm. Money does not grow on trees.
Right.
But also you have to work hard for your money.
Right. Oh my God, that's such a lie. It's such a lie. And I know somebody out there is rolling their eyes right now, because that's how I would have been a few years ago, right? Yeah, you have to work hard. Because that was drummed into me so much that, you had to work hard for your money. My poor father, that mentality that he has had his whole life, right? And my dad had a broken back, I think at 19 or 21. And he's been in pain since then. So my entire adult life that I've known my father, I've only known him in pain.
Okay.
And he used to be a mailman. He broke his back. They fused a bunch of his vertebrae together. And he would carry 50-pound bags of mail. Yeah. And he did that for 35 years or something like that. And then he would be an umpire. My dad was a bit of a jock, right?
Okay.
And he would be an umpire. And he would be, hunched over behind the home plate, right?
Baseball, okay.
And yeah, softball, baseball,
Okay.
and you know, his body was in extraordinary amounts of pain, and that's, I think, what drove him was, one, he had this ethic that he had to pay for his family,
Right.
and the other one is that he had to work, and that working meant pain, and so therefore that's how you made money. So you literally had to make money from pain.
Right.
Oh,
And that's a perfect example. So I do workshops. So my very first workshop that I wanted to do, and I got paid. Oh yeah.
Well, so there was a scarcity mentality there for you,
Oh
right?
God, absolutely.
That said I wasn't worthy to do a workshop.
Right.
Right? Or
Well,
I can't make money while teaching people what I know.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. And so that was huge. You know, and I share this because we all have that. It's about bringing them out and just allowing ourselves to be okay with it, right? We don't have to work hard for it. Now, there's a difference between not having to work hard and giving great value.
Right.
But I think especially out there, we have this thing where, you know, we've written the books, we've done the workshops, and it comes quite naturally for me. Saving money comes quite naturally for me. So there was that guilt. Why should I get paid for something that comes quite naturally for me?
Right.
So there's that
It's
guilt.
like a painter saying, I'm a natural at painting and I shouldn't get paid for my paintings.
Right.
That
How does
doesn't
that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? You can build a house. Why would you not? So it's the soft skills,
Right.
That we have sometimes difficulty
Yeah.
being okay with that. And I think
Yeah.
we need to overcome that, you know, because it is, you know, I've spent a lot of time, I've spent a lot of money getting where I am today. So I should. And now I'm okay with it. I'm okay with people writing me a large amount of check.
I love it. Hey, write me a bigger check. That's awesome. It's funny because so many people would get really nervous about that. If somebody just came up on the street and said, I think I still would. If somebody just walked up to me and said, hey, I'm going to write you a check for $10,000, I'd be like, oh, no, you can't do that. Like, I would probably... You know, because I'm like, well, where's that money come from? Or, you know, whatever stupid thing I would be doing, right? Instead, I'd be like, I would like to think, I would say, well, only 10?
And that's it. And that is so perfect, folks.
Right.
Perfect. And we did not rehearse this. But that's the idea, is stretching. So think of money. Think about money and dancing with money, right?
I like that,
So
yeah.
it's a give and take.
Right.
It's also allowing yourself, also think of it as a rubber band. Stretching yourself.
Pulls in, pulls out.
Correct.
Right?
But every time you do that with a rubber band, the more you do it, the more comfortable you are, and the more you're going to be stretched out.
Right.
So at this point, maybe 5,000 is a comfortable level. But in order to get to the 10,000, the 25,000.
I think 10's a comfortable level.
Okay, well, 10,000. Good.
I'd like 50 to be a comfortable level.
Okay,
though,
good,
yeah.
perfect.
I like 300 to be a comfortable level.
Good.
That would be 300,000.
That's so
awesome.
funny because I'm at $250,000. So
Nice.
that's good.
Uh-huh.
It sounds right.
Yeah.
But it's about practicing, right? And how do you do that? You do that by writing yourself a check for that amount.
Right, I love that. You know, I love that you're getting into the subconscious, because what you're doing in that statement of sitting down and writing a check to yourself is you're teaching your subconscious a possibility.
Exactly.
And most of us, you know, I'm a therapist, and most of us don't really pay attention to the stories that we tell about money. Or if we do pay attention to them, it's the money doesn't go on trees story, and we just keep perpetuating that story, and then we get stuck in the facts. Then we say, well, let me prove to you that money doesn't grow on trees, right? And we fight for our pain.
Yep.
I mean, how do you see that in your workshops, right? You see people probably saying, well, what are the things they say to you around that? Like, if I'm going to write that $10,000 or that $300,000 check, right, to myself. What's the voice that comes up in their head? What do you hear from people?
It's a lie.
Right.
It's a lie.
It's a lie.
It's a lie.
So it's not real.
It's not real. It's a lie. You know, it's a game. They don't feel it. They see it as separate of themselves.
Well, they feel something.
They feel a fight. Like,
Exactly.
don't deserve it. I don't deserve it. I'm not enough.
Right.
So there's all kinds of stories that come up.
And those are feelings.
Those are feelings.
And so that's an interesting thing, because most people will just say, oh, it's just a thought, right?
Right.
But when I have that feeling or that thought of it's not enough, or I'm not enough, or I don't have enough, I feel a heavy sadness kind of in my heart, and I feel a pit in my gut, like oh, that was loud. we're out to actually a studio and it's soundproofed, and somebody was so loud on their motorcycle. I call those little dick bikes. I don't know if you guys heard that, but a big motorcycle, something just came by. They're compensating for something. You know, we're this LGBT. We can talk about these things. Okay, so that feeling at the base of my gut is like an emptiness, like a pain.
Correct.
That's down there.
And we don't want to, that's so perfect.
Yeah.
And we don't want to deal with that pain.
Right.
So we're going to cover it up.
And we just perpetuate it.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And what can we do to make sure that that pain does not surface?
Mm-hmm. Well, tell us. What can we do?
Right?
Yeah.
And when you really, truly get down to it, it's really not, it is pain. I'm not going to lie. Trust me. I mean,
it is pain. There's pain is physical, emotional, spiritual. And that's a big part of my show, that, you know, there's financial suffering and poverty that's out there.
Right.
And we're about giving people solutions.
And I say the best way to deal with that pain is get yourself an accountability partner. It's not going to cost you any money, and you're going to be helping each other. You're building your support system.
So like a friend that wants or is in alignment with your abundance and their abundance.
Absolutely. And that does not mean that you both want to make the same amount of money. Just that means that you're going to be supporting each other.
Right.
Whatever that may be for you.
So what does that look like?
Perfect question. So I, to this day, still have struggled with things on sale. Right? Because I came from the money does not grow on tree. I have to buy it on sale. So
I kind of like that. But
yes and no, because when you get out of hand. So I buy stuff on sale that's not for me.
Oh, so you buy stuff that you don't need just because it's on sale.
Correct.
Oh.
To give away.
No, I don't do that.
To give away. I give away stuff. It's a great deal. I just know this will be perfect. I have two sons, especially. So I stopped doing that.
Right.
And I asked myself, for those occasions where I just can't stop myself, I have an accountability partner. Right. And I call them up and I justify my purchase. Right? But even then, just...
You don't call them up before you make the purchase?
I have to call them before the purchase.
Oh,
yeah, before the purchase.
All right. And what happens? Do you still make the purchase, or do you actually walk away?
Well, but this is what's interesting. Just having somebody listening to my reasoning to purchase this, most of the time I talk myself out of it.
Okay.
Right? But it's about having that person that you can call and say, I really want to purchase this. Okay, so things on sale and personal development courses, those are my two weaknesses.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So I'm very, very happy to report that as of today, I'm now 15 months without purchasing any personal development courses.
Wow. Okay. I kind of have mixed feelings about that. Like, I think that's really great. And I think that, well, I don't know.
I've purchased so much.
Okay.
And I'm still part of so many different groups that I'm still going out there. So it's not
so
about...
you're still doing all this growth and development work.
Right. I'm just not paying...
You're just not paying more
as
for it.
much as I did once upon a time.
Got it. Right.
But build your own support system. You know, have somebody, you know, whether you're going to school, a coworker, it cannot be your spouse. That's the only thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you don't want to have that on top of everything else.
Right,
so find somebody that has similar goals to yours and you call each other. It's not about judgment. You call them up. So I would call you up, Peter, and I said, listen, there's this personal development course, and it's only $9.99, and I really, really want to go.
That sweet spot. It's only $1,000.
It's only $9.99. Okay, $9.97.
And they're discounting it for me right now.
And I can get it for $6.97. But you know what I mean? So it's about, you know, what is it that you want to accomplish?
Right.
And that just having that person that you can call up on, and you know they're not going to judge you. They're going to listen to you, and you're going to do the same I would do the same for you, Peter. You know, you want to buy whatever it is that you want to buy. So build your support system. That is truly, and again, it's not costing you. And you're both, not only that, but you're building a community.
So go ahead.
Because you're helping each other.
Right. Now what I was going to say is that's interesting because you, at this point, have taken a money scarcity almost into a money addiction type of thing. So, and they're two different things. So you're talking about the addiction of having to buy something that I would think that buying the sale item or whatever is soothing something, just like the alcoholic is soothing something. So the shopaholic is soothing something through those purchases.
Absolutely.
Right.
No, go ahead.
Do you find that a lot in with your clients that they're out, they're spending, they're out of control spending, or that impulsive purchases are kind of like an addiction.
And we go back to the what was the original story.
Right.
So we either spend money
Right.
out of guilt, out of shame, or because we want to feel good about ourselves.
Right.
I like to think of it as a three-headed monster. And everybody pretty much fits into one of those.
Okay.
Right? So if you work long hours, you may want to go purchase something because you haven't been spending enough time with your mate.
Right.
Right? So so you're spending, not whether you rather spend time with them.
Right.
But out of guilt, you're going to go out and buy something for them.
Sort of to make up, to apologize.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
And what other ways?
So those are the three. So we shop out of guilt,
Uh-huh.
whether it's time. So this is where the balance comes in,
Okay.
right? We want to be able to have the money, but also the time to do the things that we want to do, whatever that may look like for that person.
Right.
So that's what's really crucial. So start thinking of that as a three-headed monster.
So the drive to spend money is a three-headed monster, because not money itself.
No,
Okay.
no. Money's all good. It's what's driving you to spend the money.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, on that note, everybody, take a moment, take a deep breath, because I know money is an issue that can rile up a lot of people, get a lot of emotions going there. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you're interested, check out convergencehealingteas.com. You can try all of these yummy, delicious teas that are actually crafted in my home kitchen to help you feel better. We have a Sleep Well blend, a No More Anxiety blend, and all of those ingredients in there are designed to help you feel better through the traditional qualities that Mother Nature has to offer. Check it out. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying tuned in. If you're looking at the table right now, I'm always trying to share new things, and this is my Convergence Healings tea. We have our detox blend that I'm serving today. It has calendula and nettle, a bunch of different stuff in there that's really good for letting your body sort of let go of stuff. And so taking advantage of what Mother Nature offers us. So,
and I should say is delicious.
You like it?
It's
that's
very
great.
No, it's smooth.
Good. It's all herbal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's all herbal, natural. Mother Nature's amazing.
It's just perfect.
Well,
no, it really is. It's just soothing, and you don't feel like, it just feels like you're doing something good for your body.
Well, look, I got a little testimonial for my teas. Awesome. Thank you. That was unexpected. And I have our tea as how we sell it. So if you do go to convergencehealingteas.com and order some tea, these are our 1 ounce bags. They come in 1 ounce and 4 ounces, and you're getting one of those. So
That's
one of those is going to be for you as we clear the studio. So yeah, you'll have maybe our woman's blend, or there's our happy tummy, our happy kidney. We have a couple different ones.
Beautiful.
Our detox, like the one we're drinking. So those are there for you. And we're going to jump back to our subject. We have the beautiful Chella Diaz here that's talking to us about money. And I really want to go into the story that people tell, because again, like, I don't have a shopping issue. I don't have a spending issue. In fact, I probably should spend more. I'm one of the people that I won't buy myself things. So I'm kind of on the opposite end. I won't do a self-help type of thing. I won't go buy myself clothing unless it's at, like, I love Fallas Paredes. or like I go to the outlets, right? And I'll get a nice t-shirt or a nice something from one of the higher end manufacturers, but I'll get it for like 75% off or that type of thing. And that I have a little budget like that where I just don't go buy clothes, or I don't buy things. And so I plan when I go through the outlets to just do a quick little tour, pick up some of the essentials that I need, and then I'm done.
Perfect.
And so that's great, but I still have in the past, and I still have had a scarcity thing. And so it's been my story that I inherited from my family about having to work hard for money. And I don't know about you guys, but I look all over Southern California, and there are so many people here that don't work, that are barely work, and they're millionaires. Right? So the idea that you have to work hard for money is bullshit. It's and we're a podcast, so we can say bullshit, horse crap, right? Like one of my neighbors used to say, horse crap, right? And so the more I learn these things, that money it's a lie that money doesn't grow on trees. Money actually does grow on trees. It's a lie that you have to work hard for your money. It's a lie that there's just not enough to go around.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect setup, folks.
So
I was going to say, even your quote that you read, I mean, she lived in her car.
Right, J.K. Rowling.
Right? She lived in her car because she could have very well taken that first offer that she was given.
Right.
But she knew. She knew there was something bigger and better out there.
Yeah.
And she was willing to wait for it.
Yeah.
So, and look where she is now.
Right. And she had to, and this is true for everything, and this is a big part of my own therapy practice, right? You have to be able to understand something before you can achieve it.
Right.
And understanding means you have to see it, feel it, right? You have to know the temperature, the texture, the color, the sound, the smell of that. And whether it's health, because that's what I do around people with anxiety. I do a lot of anxiety, pain, addiction type of issues with people. But that's also extremely true on money. Right. Because when the brain understands something, and how does the brain know the world? It knows it only through our senses, right? And we tend to assume something, but we never tend to understand the actual experience of that thing. Right. Like we know we have pain, and we know we don't like it, but we very rarely sit down and say, well, how am I really understanding that pain? What does it feel like? What's the color, the temperature, texture? Where does it live in my body? Is it heavy? Is it light? What is that experience like?
And if you ask those very same questions when it comes to money.
Yes.
Those are it. So I'm going to go back to you, Peter.
Great.
So
I like that.
Let's get back to you. No, because you just gave me the idea that of the other side, right? So we have the shoppers, and we find out. But what about the people that don't do the shopping, right? And
still live in that scarcity,
right? Oh, good. I'm glad she had said that word. And so, to me, it sounded more like you're depriving yourself.
Exactly. Yes.
And so if we really ask the questions, so why do you feel that you need to deprive yourself, right? So possibly maybe that story from the parents from growing up is still somewhere in the back. Right? Because you don't believe that you deserve to go out. So I am going to challenge you to go out and buy something that's not on sale.
Right. Well, I'm not much of that type of person either, though. Like, I don't get a lot of pleasure from shopping. Or buying things for myself or doing that kind of stuff. And I actually I'll take myself out for food or do stuff like that now.
Okay, so you do.
I didn't used to.
Okay, good.
Right.
So you're getting
I'm getting there, absolutely. But I'm just not a party person. So I don't understand the idea of buying like a $400 shirt or that type. I appreciate it. I absolutely appreciate those beautiful clothing. I used to work for a very brief time for Giorgio Armani.
Okay.
And I understand the value and the couture. Absolutely get it. But it's just not my thing.
So what would be your thing? If I gave you today $25,000, what would be that thing?
Probably my business.
Okay.
That would be the thing that I tend to have my biggest scarcity over, would be spending money on my business.
Okay.
Like I know I need to do marketing. I know I need to do these things, and I'm not doing them because I have that scarcity of I just don't have enough.
And that's a perfect example, folks. Because sometimes we transfer our personal money story into the business.
Right.
Right? Because,
absolutely. Your story is your business.
Right.
That's absolutely.
Yeah. So that's perfect. Because for you, maybe we definitely need to talk about, start setting up something aside so that you can start marketing. Because let's take it even one step further. What's going to happen once you market?
So you know what? I was very clever.
Okay.
Because I actually found a program with somebody that I thought was really valuable. And it was on marketing, and I really liked their perspective. It was completely over my head. Like not completely. I get about a third of it. But then it goes into SEO and all this kind of stuff about developing the website and the back end of the website, all the development on it and all those types of things. I'm like, okay, that is not my talent and expertise, and it's not where I need to spend my time.
Right.
But I bought that as a personal development, right?
Okay.
I bought this year-long training.
Okay.
And I gave it to a friend of mine who's been helping me on all my marketing.
Perfect.
And he loves it. So now he's learning these modules and he's going through all this kind of stuff and he's learning all this back end stuff because he does websites, but now he's going to know how to do all the SEO and all that type of stuff on the website. And in exchange, he's doing it for my website.
Perfect. But also that brings a good point, is
Right.
that sometimes you don't need to do it yourself,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
You just need to buy it and then hire somebody,
Right.
because you're not strong at all areas. In marketing and SEO and all that may not be. Actually, that's not my thing either.
Why, right.
But we need to partner with somebody.
Right.
But at the end of the day is make sure that we get it done. So whether it's for your business or it's your personal life, whatever that needs to do, you don't all have to do it yourself.
Right.
You just need to find that person. Again, we go back to dancing. You need to find that partner that you're going to be able to dance. It sounds like you found that with your friend, right?
I think so. I mean, we're just starting on this little dance, so hopefully
Okay.
he's going to keep stepping up. And it's taking a little longer than I wanted it to, but it's all good.
So I'd like for your listeners and audience to think about money as you're the boss
Right.
and money is your employee.
So that is mind blowing for I'm sure a lot of people. I know for me in the past that would have been because I felt so much that I was the pawn. I was the last one, right? I didn't control money. Money controlled me. And I still go there sometimes. Right? How do you break that pattern?
Especially if you start thinking about it that way, right? So are you choosing, and I'm right now talking about my shoppers and the ones that go out and, restaurants and going out to eat all the time. Nothing wrong with that. But it's when you start living beyond your means
Right.
that it becomes an issue. So if you're the boss, are you choosing to take out the money and buy the $400 shirt, even though you don't have the money?
Right.
Are you choosing to go out to dinner 5 times a week? What are you choosing? How are you choosing to manage that money?
So that's when it gets tricky because there's the idea that, yes, I need to think about having, that concept of being able to be comfortable with a large sum of money, right? Like people who win the lottery notoriously don't know how to perceive themselves with that money. And so they lose it all within, a year or something like that. So that money just completely goes away because they have no concept of who they are in relationship to actually being, right? Temperature, texture, color, sound, smell, in that relationship with money.
Right.
And so it's gone.
Right.
So how do you teach yourself to be comfortable with that expanded, with let's say $1 million in the bank? Because most people would say, oh my God, yeah, that's great, right? But apparently, and the lottery teaches us that those same people that say, yes, it's great, I want all that money, they don't have the capacity to be a container for that money. So how do you teach yourself?
It's just about starting to practice with your mind, right?
Okay.
So you gotta stretch that mind. You gotta start feeling what that feels like to have that million. If that's what you're choosing to do.
So can you walk us through that? What does that look like?
So let's say that is your goal, to have $1 million. So what's the purpose of $1 million? Because I got to tell you, I know plenty of people that had $1 million, but they didn't know what that purpose was.
Right.
So what is the purpose? Is it safety? Is it because you want to invest? Why do you have that money?
D.
D.
All of the above.
Oh, the deal. I'm sorry. I was like, so you have to know what that money is for. What is it bringing you?
Right.
Is that relationship. So you have $1 million. What is it for? What does it feel like? Okay. Where do you live?
So let's do it. So
Yes.
let's do it for ourselves. Will you do it with me?
Absolutely.
Okay, so there's let's say there's $1 million in our bank account.
Yes.
All right. And we're going to claim that money's there right now.
Yep.
There's $1 million in our bank account. I love it. I like just saying that. There's $1 million in our bank account. I like that. In my bank account, I'm going to be more specific. And there's $1 million in
my bank account.
There we go. I like that. So I hope you who are listening are saying this to yourself. There's $1 million in my bank account.
So what are we going to do with that? And I will tell you, because I practice what I preach. I know, absolutely. Yeah. And for me, I would buy real estate.
Absolutely.
Because that's going to
bring... $1 million isn't going to go very far.
Well,
so
that's not true.
Yeah.
It really would.
Not in California.
Well, I'm not buying in California.
Okay.
But you have to have a purpose. So for me, my number one is going to be real estate.
Right.
So I want to invest portion of that money so that I have monthly income coming in.
So like an apartment complex or something
Absolutely.
like that. Yeah, me too. I've had 6 properties. So that's always been something I really, really love.
Right.
I love taking the worst house on the street and making it beautiful.
Oh, see.
That's my favorite thing. It's my favorite thing to do in the world.
So for some of you out there, it could be something totally different. Maybe you simply invest it. Find out what is it that you want to do. Do you want to put it in investments? So
okay, so let's stick with you. You're multiple units.
Absolutely.
Right,
so I have that monthly income
and
coming
you can
in.
See that, right?
Got it. Absolutely.
Okay, so you have a vision for it.
I should maybe not cheat, but because I'm already there.
Oh, nice.
So it's much easier for me to do that. But I wasn't always there. But I always knew that I wanted to have rental property.
Right.
And so for me, that was something. I should take a quick break. So I bought my first house when I was 23 years old.
You beat me. I was 28, right?
But that's something I wanted to do, right? So what is it that you want to do? Is it somebody want to open up a foundation for that $1 million? See what you want to do with it, but you have to have a purpose because otherwise you're going to lose it. We're stretching ourselves. We're feeling. So what does that feel like for me to get that check coming in for my rental property, right? Or what does that mean when you go out and you're able to help, 10,000 people because you have a foundation and you have the resources to go out and do that?
Right, like a nonprofit.
Right.
Right.
What is that one thing that you're going to do with that $1 million? So for me, definitely rental property because just having that income, the resources, and also having a management company because I don't want to deal with the tenant.
You don't want to deal with them.
Not anymore. I'm done that. Been there.
Yeah,
I'm done with
that too. I understand.
I'm done with that. So I've learned a lot of lessons from that. So what is that? So for me, that will give me, by having that money coming in, it's going to allow me to invest and it's going to allow me to give me the time for me to go out and do more workshops.
Okay, so to condense,
yes,
if you're going to have $1 million in your bank account, you need to actually know what the purpose of that money is. You need to feel what it's like to actually open your bank account and see those numbers.
Absolutely.
All right. What else?
One quick tip is I would carry $1 million in your wallet.
Okay.
And we can go into the next room.
$1 million. That's
check
a
it.
lot.
It's just a
check.
check.
A lot of stuff to have to keep around. So it's just a check.
It's just, and I actually have that in the next room because I carry $1 million bill in my wallet.
That's great.
So that every time you go out and you want to pay for something,
where do you get $1 million bill?
I'll get you one. So when you go out to the store and you're paying for something,
you see it all the time.
Yes, it's a reminder.
So it's a subconscious messaging, and your subconscious knows that that's available to you.
Yes.
Now, what if your subconscious is saying, "Ugh, I know it's only a little stupid piece of paper," or it has an opinion about that not being real?
And at the beginning, it will, folks. Believe you me, I've been there. So this is a 6 years in progress. So now when I look at it, I smile.
Right. So now you have a different physical response to it.
Yes.
I love that.
So hang in there. If you're more comfortable with 100,000, put 100,000.
Okay.
Is whatever that amount is comfortable for you. It's 5,000. Put a 5,000 in there.
Okay.
And give it time. It's not going to happen overnight. But now when you go into the wallet or, purse, whatever it is, I actually have another one. And that's what I use as a bookmark when I read books.
That's great.
So they're all over. You're surrounded.
Right.
You surround yourself because then it's a constant reminder.
Okay, so we're giving you guys tips, and we're going to be back with a few more about what we're doing here today. So thank you so much. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you're interested, check out convergencehealingteas.com. You can try all of these yummy, delicious teas that are actually crafted in my home kitchen to help you feel better. We have a Sleep Well blend, a No More Anxiety blend, and all of those ingredients in there are designed to help you feel better through the traditional qualities that Mother Nature has to offer. Check it out. All right, so welcome back to the Convergence Healing Podcast with me, Peter Bedard. I'm sitting down with the awesome Chella Diaz, and we have only a few minutes left in the podcast, so Chella's going to actually take us through a 3-step process for creating more abundance in your life, and I like to say making the pie bigger instead of that scarcity pie that there's not enough. And there's always, you have to fight somebody to get your part of it. I always like to say, well, why don't we just make more pies? Why don't we make it bigger and share the abundance instead of competing with each other?
I'm going to borrow that.
You can take it, absolutely.
Because it's a visual. I can see a bigger pie.
Right.
Oh my God, I'm going to borrow that.
Good.
So I would say this is what I normally walk my clients through. 3-step process. Yeah. First step is know where you want to go. As simple as that.
So
know
people
where
should be writing this down, right?
Know where your money's going. So this is step number 1.
Okay.
Keep track of how you're spending your money for 7 days. Mm-hmm. That's it. Anytime you spend over $1, you write it down. No judgment, no confusion, no beating yourself up. Mm-hmm. At the end of those 7 days, you divide that list into how much did you spend on wants, how much did you spend on needs. Mm-hmm. Again, there's no judgment. And you will do this for 4 weeks. During those 4 weeks, you're going to find...
So it's not just 7 days.
You start these 7 days. Your first milestone is going to be 7 days. And I've been doing this for, 15 years. So the first week is going to be your toughest. Because your brain is not going to want you to do this.
Right.
Your brain doesn't want you to know where you really are. Your brain does not...
Right.
You know what I mean? So the first week. So give yourself... Have compassion for yourself. Okay. So you're going to do it for 7 days, and those are going to be the toughest. And then...
Potentially, we don't want that suggestion to be there.
Potentially, it could be your hardest. Have compassion.
Great.
And be kind to yourself.
Nice.
And then just do that for 3 more weeks.
All right.
Because that's going to tell you where your money is going. We're going to find where, is it eating out? Is it shopping for personal development courses? where is that money going? Mm-hmm. And then also this is the time for you to give yourself a clean slate. It doesn't matter how you chose to spend your money in the past. This is a new beginning.
So it's really just creating awareness.
Oh, I'm going to steal that too.
Oh, good. Yeah, go for it. So it's about creating awareness on where your money is and how you're spending it. No judgment. Nothing. You're just going to write it down for 1 week, and then you're going to get through 3 more weeks and just sort of track where your money's going.
Right.
Great. All right. What's the next step?
So that's all you need to do. Okay. And then your next step is, what financial goal do you want to accomplish?
So to write that goal down? Or
write down, yeah. Okay. You would have to.
I find on pain, and that's my primary topic, on pain, writing things down is huge. I even created a little graphic that is... it's just my bad stick figures, but it's a guy, like a stick figure guy sitting at a desk, and he's got a pad of paper and he's writing, and I have all these words in his head, and then I show the words coming like through his head, through his arm, through his hand, and into the paper. Ooh. And there is a biological thing that happens when we write. There's a whole bunch of studies on the power of writing, not typing, not dictating into your phone. It's actually pen and paper, writing out stuff. And on the negative side, when you write about your pain, it's like the pain biologically flows out of your head, down your body, and into the paper. Exactly. And on the positive side, when you write about, like, who am I with that $100,000 or more, let's say, what does it look like? Oh, I'm on the beach in Aruba, that type of stuff. What I do with my clients is I have them write a letter from the future as if they already have that. Ooh. So I'll have them do something like, say it's 2018. So it's today, but 2018. Okay. Right? So it's a year from now. And where are they a year from now? And they're writing me back saying, oh, Peter, gosh, I haven't seen you in a few months, and I'm so happy. Not that I don't like seeing you, but that I don't feel the need for your services anymore. Okay. And I'm so grateful for that, just like I know you would be. And I'm sitting on the beach in Aruba, and I can't tell you how fun it is to be in the sun and to sip on a Mai Tai and to feel so proud of myself and what it's like to have, in your case, $1 million in the bank, and to feel that experience of that freedom of being able to sit on the beach and accomplishing that goal. And what it's so great, in my case with my clients, to be pain-free, or to be able to have the pain where it's not dictating my life anymore, where the pain isn't controlling me, but I'm now in charge of my life on every level of my being. And I'm so grateful for that. And then, you could tell more and more and more story, but they're actually telling a story from the future as if they already have the thing that they already are, the person that they're looking to be, instead of being in pain, again, even if it's financial pain, right? understanding that. So writing is huge.
It is.
I love that.
It's also a reminder. So I have it in Post-its. And I have them in my bathroom. I have them in the back of the door.
Right.
Again, because constant reminder, right? Because we forget.
It's a subconscious message.
It's totally, and because we forget, and our mind does not want us to go there.
Nope. Our subconscious is constantly looking for danger.
Right.
So I have this thing too. You know, people are afraid, I don't want to have negative thoughts. And I say that's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. Your brain is designed to look for danger.
Right.
It's designed on a survival end to look for danger. In the modern world, that's not the saber-toothed tiger jumping out in front of us, right? It's looking for potential problems. Right. So when the brain becomes negative, it's actually what it's supposed to do.
Right.
And it's the primitive parts of the brain. Now we want to work with the more advanced parts of the brain, right? To say to the primitive parts, hey, I get it, you're safe, it's all right, you're good, we got this, right? And to have a higher awareness and consciousness.
Right. And that's why those constant reminders, I think, are important.
Are super powerful.
Because we want a constant reminder, that we're not out in danger. We're not going to get eaten by a tiger.
Right.
Well, I don't think we are. Well, in LA, we're not going to. In LA, that's not that's an option. So that's what you want to do. You want to be able to put it in writing because that's also going to help you understand, how badly do you want that? I wanted a car when I was 17 and I wanted pretty badly.
Yeah.
And then I wanted a house because, again, but freedom. What is it, right? Absolutely, freedom.
And when you write, you describe, right? So using lots of adjectives. Right. So
because you want to own it, you want to feel it. Is it raining that day? Is it nice, sunny, whatever. Some people may prefer rain.
The beach in Aruba. Or Costa Rica. I'll take Costa Rica too.
I'll go to Costa Rica. So what does that look like for you? Right. Because that's going to help you stay. And again, not beating yourself, having compassion, but so the third. So first, you keep track of it. Second, you set a financial goal. And right now, unfortunately, most folks are going to want to pay off some debt. So for that, the one thing that's really going to help you stay on track is keep track of how much interest you're paying for 3 months.
Okay.
Because think about what you could be doing with that interest money.
Sure. Oh my gosh, yeah. If you have like 4 or 5 maxed out credit cards. I have a friend who's brilliant at she always racks up debt and then she pays it off. I don't know how she does it, but she just goes into this work mode and she pays it off. Every few years she's back to zero, but it's like this roller coaster.
Right.
Can I share another concept with you?
Oh, God, yes.
So I talk about, and this is in the healing world that I think is great for the money world. So I talk about forward motivation and away from motivation. And I learned this from one of my mentors, right?
Okay.
And forward motivation is very different than away from motivation, but they're both motivation. So away from motivation, and notice the feeling that when I say this, notice what you feel like when I say this. So away from motivation is, I don't want to live in the gutter. 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 I need to make money so I don't have to live in the gutter. I don't like living in the gutter. I need to make money. I need to make money. I need to make money because I don't want to live in the gutter. I'm making money. I'm making money. I'm making money because I don't want to live in the gutter. I now have an apartment. I have a house. I'm not living in the gutter. So therefore, what happens?
It sounds painful to me.
It is very painful. Okay. And you have to go back to living in the gutter in order to be able to make that experience of not living in the gutter. Oh. So it's an away from type of thing. It's a motivation. So the pain of the fear of living in the gutter is motivating you to make money. But the moment you make that money and you no longer live in the gutter, there's nothing motivating you anymore. Right. It's kind of like the woman getting married. You have that classic thing of somebody wanting to fit, the heterosexual thing, fitting in the wedding dress, right? And they don't want to look like a fat cow, and they'll say that. I hear women say these things all the time. I don't want to look like a fat cow on my wedding day. So they go through this thing, and that's their motivation. I don't want to look like a fat cow. I don't want to look like a fat cow. So they eat better. They take care of themselves. They exercise right. They do all that kind of stuff. Then they get married, and there's now no reason for them to stay at that healthy weight. Because, assuming it's a healthy weight, but there's no reason to stay at that weight anymore because they're already got married and they're not going to have those pictures taken ever again. Right. So that is an away from a negative motivation.
Okay.
So a forward motivation is, I love myself so much and I love making money. When I make money, I have so much fun, and I have so much fun sharing that money. When I share that money, my life is bigger, and as my life gets bigger, I can help more people, and as I help more people, I make more money, and it's so much happier for me, and I'm creating all this happiness in the world because I'm sharing that possibility for people, and I'm investing in other people, and they're creating great things, and I love doing that because it just makes me feel better, right? And that's never ending, right?
It
so
is.
That's a toward motivation.
It was the ocean.
Yes, and for me to be able to get to that point of even being able to say that was huge, because my story was I don't want to live in the gutter.
Okay.
That was my story, and that's how I motivated everything in my life, right? But now it's so much fun to make money, right? And that's a whole different motivation.
And also, you took it not just from me or me, I want to live in a better place, I don't want to be in the gutter, but now you're helping others.
Right. It's expansive.
Yeah.
Like you said, the ocean.
Yeah, well, that's what I got. When as you were talking, that's just, I felt that was in the ocean. It was expansive. And yeah,
I love that.
Awesome.
Yay. So hopefully all of you out there are practicing. You got your 3 tips, which are?
Well, your 3 tips: keep track of your money for 7 days, give yourself that, and then make it 4 weeks. 4 weeks is your ultimate goal.
So elephant bites, one little step at a time.
One little step at a time.
Right.
What is going to be your financial goals? What do you want to accomplish? To write them down. What is that you want to accomplish? The tip is also keep track of how much interest you're paying for 3 months, and also think about you're making somebody else rich.
Right.
You're not making yourself rich. You're making somebody else rich.
Right.
And then the third and final one is, now that you know where your money is going, how are you choosing? What other options are you going to do? I call it, are you going to go brew your own coffee and not buy that $7 thing?
Right.
Or are you choosing to only go out to lunch or dinner on special occasions? What options? And I say that because those are the most
How
common.
are you going to spend your money?
How are you going to spend your money?
Consciously spending your money.
Consciously spending your money.
Love that.
And what the difference is, you're going to pour it towards that financial goal.
Right.
That's it, folks. Every single person that has done this has seen magic happen.
Wow,
and I
that's
know.
beautiful. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, Chella, thank you for being our guest on the show. We loved having you on. Or I loved having you on. I speak in the plural, right? My producer just walked in the room. She's amazing. So we loved having you on. Tell us where we can find you.
Well, you can find me, of course, on Facebook, Chella Diaz. You can find me on Twitter, Chella Diaz Money. You can find me on Instagram. And you can visit my website, find me out, Money IQ 901. Money IQ 901. And let's find out what your money IQ is.
Nice. I love that. Thank you so much. I appreciate your being a guest on the show.
It's been a pleasure. And
So-
I learned so much. No, I did.
Right. Just me sharing. Okay. I tend to overshare, but that's all right. I have my own podcast too.
That's why we asked. No, it's really great. I think what's really awesome about that is that you never know by you sharing what people, they just may need to hear that.
That's the goal. That's
That's
the goal. We're
true.
providing solutions for living a better life. So thank you so much. Stay tuned. We're going to be back with another episode shortly. And I love you guys. You're awesome. Bye.